Thank you for that kind introduction. I'll start my session now. So, good afternoon, everyone. Hope you're all doing fine and staying safe. Firstly, thanks a lot to all the viewers who have taken out the time to join me for this webinar. I do hope you find the session useful. I'm Pujan Shah and I lead the mobile app acquisition ad sales business at Google India, where we work with app businesses to help them find success with Google Ads. Today, I'm going to talk about some common questions most app businesses have around their growth journey, as well as how to acquire high quality users at a lower cost of acquisition. Okay, so let's first look at how big is the India opportunity and why should you even care about it? Or should I say, how daunting is this task in the Indian app market? Let's take a look at some of the stats. By 2021, India has almost half the population online and about 500 million smartphone users in the country. This number has been growing at a staggering pace and has been the single most important driver in the digital economy. In addition, there were 2.5 lakh plus new apps launched in India last year, and this number is growing at about 30% YOY. Now to the next big question, what on mobile? So 88% of all the time spent on mobile internet actually happens in apps, which of course explains why we are seeing this heightened flurry of activity on the apps ecosystem. In fact, India has already surpassed both the US and China to become the world's largest country in terms of app downloads. So, is this really a mammoth task? Getting your app to stand out in such a cluttered market? Well, we at Google don't think so. We think it's rather an opportunity, and many of the things depend on just a few basic fundamentals. I'm going to take you through certain broad thematics on how we can do this both organically as well as using paid marketing to increase your app's discoverability in a chaotic market. If you see the screen, here is a broad list of things marketeers care about when it comes to a full funnel app strategy. And broadly, we can bucket it into two categories: organic growth and growth through advertising. So let's launch into the first section, which I think is a clear favorite of all the app developers and advertisers. This is actually one of the first things that we always hear clients ask us. First, how do I improve my app's ranking on the Play Store? And second, how do I get more user love by managing my ratings and reviews? We will try to answer most of these questions in this session today. So let's do a quick experiment at the Play Store. Look at these two listings, right? And in 3, 2, 1 seconds, that's it. So that's the average attention span most of the users have while making a decision to install your app. Hardly 3 seconds. So let's look at what did we really see in these 3 short seconds. Well, gut instinct and intuition are always a great fallback option, right? But it's important to figure out how do you make your Play Store listing great. So the first thing that will attract your attention is your logo. Keep a descriptive logo with the app name and keywords in the app description. Second, care the most about your ratings and number of reviews. Do not leave any stone unturned to capture positive sentiments. It's actually hard for us as users to rate an app when you are happy. But when we are happy, I think you all know what happens. The third most important section is your app visibility through screenshots and videos. Let your users know what to expect from the app, your most important features in a story format. And the last one is reviews. This is how users judge or make their mind on how the app experience is going to be. Your interactions with users, complaint resolutions, time to revert, and overall sentiments will ensure high app install. Now let's look at some of these stats. So Google Play Store console offers something called as a store listing experiment. You can actually run A/B tests as variants of your store listing. Experiment with different graphics, videos, text. As you can see, with just a few tweaks, you can improve your install rates by as much as 35%. Also, for all these experiments, you can choose what percentage of your users see which variant. Second thing, never underestimate the power of localization. One of the biggest impact is how you write the copy of your listing. A localized landing page always works better than a universal one. For example, Indian population gives highest response to localized photos, whereas people in Japan prefer to read full text and heavy descriptions. So, as you can see, there is no one size fits all approach. The magic happens when you experiment and test out what really works with your users. Okay, so let's quickly summarize what we have discussed so far. And these are the things we care about. First, do a keyword research. Keep checking out your brand as well as generic and competition search terms. Optimize the title with those right set of keywords. Design the creatives for attention and have a localized strategy. Localize both your images and screenshots. Okay, now let's move ahead and talk about a dream holiday. Yes, you heard that right. So we are all stuck in this lockdown, right? And it had been months that I personally haven't traveled, and I can't wait to get away. Now, when I show you this picture, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? I'll tell you what comes there in my mind. Wow, when I can book my tickets to this place. It looks beautiful. But before I do that, let me just quickly scroll down. Now tell me, what do you think? Hmm, 3.5 rating. Let's read what the customers have to say. Room is of the size of a cupboard. Had to wait 2 hours at the reception. Well, I don't think I'm going to stay at this property. In fact, let me just tell a few friends to never book this place. So, did you see the chain reaction here? That is the power of a user review. And trust me, even one bad one is enough. So we think an app install decision compromises on multiple factors in a user mind. Obviously, the size of an app and the number of download matters. But the two biggest factors that matter are one, its rating, and second, its reviews. So at 53% and 49%, I cannot stress enough on how important these 2 points are. Check this out. Here is the difference between an app rated 2.5 versus 4.5. You see a staggering 36 times jump in business. And I mean sales, not even installs, when your app is rated above 4. So, what are some of the tools and tips that are available to you to ace this part? Three things we reiterate to all app advertisers. First, personalized response, no robotic responses. Add a human element. Call out the complainant's name. Show some empathy. Tell them that you are equally worried and are invested in solving their problem. Second, always on ears. Listening is critical. Identify happy moments and the most engaged users through your AI and prompt them to rate when they're most satisfied. Like when a transaction gets completed in under 10 seconds, or maybe they had a wonderful live class. That is the time for you to nudge them, cash in on that equity. Also, users like us enjoy feeling helpful and being a part of something big. Remind them how important it is for you to get their feedback and show them the benefits that it can bring to the app as well as to themselves. For example, more content, better updates, new levels, new functionalities, or even new products. Third, your app may be simpler for you, but it may be difficult for an average user. Tell them your most important buttons. What are some of the key features and what to expect when the app is first opened? That sets the expectations and often leads to positive sentiment. Show them how the app works via a video, for example. Users love that kind of intuitive flows. Great. So so we spoke about the organic piece, right? Now let's move to the next section on how to acquire right users at scale using paid marketing. So the app growth is undeniable, but not everything is good. We are now forced to face some new challenges. Discoverability is becoming harder than ever. More than 60% of apps in the stores have never been downloaded. With such a saturated app space, how can your app be discovered? Retention. This is also now mandatory. In some countries, an average user has greater than 100 apps and uses 26 apps per month, maybe 5 with high usage. So, how do you stay relevant? In fact, do you know that India has the highest uninstall rates globally across all segments? Third, LTV is crucial. We all know this by now. We cannot care about installs only anymore. We need to focus more on retention, which means our KPIs also need to change. If you don't know the LTV of your customers, how can you know how much you are willing to pay to acquire them? And lastly, on top of all of these challenges, the complexity is increasing. You have more competitors, more demanding customers. That's all true. But you also have more channels where to advertise your apps. So the big question is, with all of these challenges and opportunities, how do you get your app out there? Well, Google is the partner to help you achieve success. Google's product offering is called App Campaigns, and it leverages the power of machine learning to help you find the right users for your app at scale across the entire Google inventory of Google Search, Display, YouTube, Gmail, Play Store, just to name a few. And each of these properties have more than a billion users. And the cherry on the cake here is Google App Campaigns are extremely easy to set up, takes less than 10 minutes, and are simple to manage and track performance. Okay, let's now look at how app campaigns work. Earlier, one dimensional proxies like age, gender, etc., were used to find relevant users. But these unidimensional signals are clearly not enough in today's time. User acquisition today is far more complex than ever. Users are on multiple devices, on thousands different channels, and have varying levels of interest. Can any of us work on all these signals manually? Doesn't seem feasible. Here comes the power of machine learning through app campaigns, which combines hundreds of user signals to look at 300 million plus combinations in real time to find the most relevant users for your app. And it continuously keeps learning and optimizing the performance with additional data flowing in. So, how does this work? Well, the algorithm picks up signals from your app like settings, engagement, user value, usage, etc., and combine this information with Google data outside your app like location, placement, user queries, just to name a few. And what it does is it then builds high quality user profiles who are most likely to engage with your app. Now that we have understood how app campaigns work using machine learning, let's try and understand a few levers that are available to optimize the performance of your campaign. Here are the top three levers marketeers can leverage to reduce their cost of acquisition. First, choosing the right type of app campaign as per your business objective. Second, creatives play an extremely critical role in the performance of your campaigns, which we will understand in the subsequent slides. Third, There are a few deeper tech integrations available where we share richer data with the machine learning algorithm and improve the quality of new users and optimize the performance of your campaigns. So let's look at each of them in detail. Talking about the first lever, there are multiple types of app campaigns, and it is important to choose the correct ones as per your business objectives. App campaigns have different product offerings across the life cycle stage. The first phase that you will encounter is called pre launch, where your goal is typically to test and iterate as much as possible before launching. The key questions you will be asking are how you can set up your app up for success and even get a head start towards your growth goals. The app campaign used here is called pre reg or pre registration. The second phase is your formal launch and early growth, when your goal is to find valuable users and put your foot on the gas pedal. Key questions here will center around how you can help users discover your app and how to find the most valuable users. Few of the popular app campaign types used here are AC for installs, AC for action, and TROAS. And finally, as your app reaches maturity, you'll turn your focus on driving up the retention and lifetime value of your users. You may ask questions like how to best monetize and grow sustainably, and how to keep the users engaged. App campaigns for re-engagement or ACE is the ideal choice in this phase. It is very important that you understand each of these campaigns and align the right one with your business goal to deliver optimal performance. Now, let's look at a few more of them in detail. So, ACI or App Campaign for Installs. The objective of this campaign is to drive installs at scale within a target cost per install. This is our most basic campaign, and we recommend to use it where you want to drive maximum downloads at the cheapest possible cost. Use this campaign to, I would say, create awareness or during launch of the app or when you're expanding into a new geography. A few best practices which are to be followed here. One, your budget should at least be 50 times of your cost per install. And second, the campaign should deliver at least 300 installs over the last 30 days for it to learn and optimize continuously. Next up is ACA or App Campaigns for Actions. The objective of this campaign is to acquire high quality users who will complete a selected in app event within a target cost per acquisition. You will still be driving new installs, but the users now coming in are more likely to perform the chosen in app event. Few best practices to be followed here. One, your budget should at least be 10 times of your CPA. And second, the campaign should deliver at least 10 in app actions daily. Well, a question that we get asked frequently is what should be that ideal in app action or goal? So, you know your end KPI, right? And in most cases, it is either purchase or transaction. However, the volume for it might be low initially, and there could be a significant delay from install time. To ensure that machine gets enough data to learn quickly, we recommend focusing on a mid-funnel event, like for example, say product browse or add to cart, or if you're offering a free trial. What it will do is this will drive up volume, and then over time, when you have enough conversions coming in, switch to your end goal of purchase. So before we talk about the third type of app campaign, let's look at some of the key statistics published by App Annie to understand why re-engagement is important. As you can see, on average, only 37% of users retain the app with them in just 7 days. You can also see that an existing customer is far more valuable than a new one. So, in the maturity life cycle stage, you now have a decent enough download base of users. but you still need to re engage with these users to either convert them into paying users or retain them longer to drive up your profitability and ROAS. Hence, in the maturity phase, we recommend running re engagement campaigns or ACE as we call it. So, figure out the audience segments you wish to re engage with. They could be cart abandoners, lapsed users, past purchasers, etc. And also build relevant creatives with the appropriate call to action to engage with these selected users. During campaign creation, you can then choose the goal of your re engagement campaign, say transaction in the case of cart abandoners. And then you measure the performance of the entire campaign using a measurement tool like Firebase or any third party tool like AppsFlyer or Branch. So, just to summarize, we discussed three types of app campaigns for the three broad lifecycle stages of an app. Install campaigns, which is used during acquisition phase to acquire cheap installs and capture a certain market share. Action campaigns during the growth phase to acquire new high quality users who are most likely to perform a specific in-app behavior that you wish to drive. And third, ACE or re-engagement campaigns to re-engage with your existing users and move them down the funnel to make them high value customers for you. Now let's talk about the second lever impacting your cost of acquisitions, and that's creative excellence. So personalization is becoming not just a competitive advantage, but something that your customers expect through every interaction with you. 31% of customers say that they wish their shopping experience was more personalized than it currently is. In fact, when ads are relevant, customers are three times more likely to pay attention to those ads. Additionally, 56% of marketeers feel that creative is the dominant driver of campaign effectiveness. So the figures are clear. What customers really want is a personalized experience tailored to their interests and needs. In fact, many now consider customer experience to be the key brand differentiator for them, more so even than price and product. And these relevant creatives will ultimately lead to better marketing outcomes in the longer run. According to a McKinsey report, personalization can reduce acquisition cost by as much as 50%, lift revenues up to by 15%, and increase the efficiency of your marketing spends by up to 30%. So, for app campaigns, what we need to do is we need to move to an asset based mindset. So, we have four types of asset formats available: text, images, videos, and HTML5. Another great feature of app campaigns is that it automatically creates beautiful creatives from these raw assets. So, the better the asset input, the higher inventory and user reach a campaign will have. App campaigns serve your assets in multiple different creatives depending on the placement, network, and inventory. We need to steer the campaign to spend more on better formats by ingesting valuable assets. These different assets map to different formats. And here on the screen is a breakdown of how this may look like and where each asset may serve on the various Google properties. Diving deeper into each of these asset types, starting with text assets. They allow you to keep creative service at a minimum cost while still keeping control over the message you want to tell your users. So, how do you deliver a great ad experience through text? First, leverage both headlines and description lines. Headlines help you focus on highlighting key features, whereas description lines should aim to educate and inform. Second, stick to using only one USP per text idea. And lastly, it is very important that you cater every idea to different audiences. So if you look here, right, it is important to incorporate your brand keywords and top generic keywords into your headlines and description. What it does, it improves the relevancy of your assets, leading to higher impressions. These brand and generic keywords both are available in the keyword planner tool in your Google Ads account. Coming to image assets. So, we are trying to simplify and unify our accepted image and file sizes across app campaign types. Now, all you have to do is put in only three ratios, which are listed on the screen: 1 is to 1, 1.91 is to 1, and 4 is to 5. And the campaign takes care of placing them across all available inventories. You can also use the new image cropper tool, which is available in the UI on your AdWords account to build these various ratio types. So now let's look at how can we stand out with these high quality images. First, keep it simple. Use simple designs with minimal text. What it does is it provides higher visibility on smaller screens. Second, engage using your app content. So use engaging and relevant images taken directly from your app. For example, these could be action shots or product images. Third, try to appeal visually. Upload images with high pixel density to ensure visibility when resized for different screens. Minimize blank space and use tight framing. Lastly, avoid superimposing text or logos. Ideally, any text or logo in an image would be organically integrated, such as on product packaging, clothing signs, billboards, etc. Now let's talk about video assets. Adding a video to your app campaign can drive a 20% uplift in installs, and that too without a significant increase in cost per install. What you should do is you should incorporate both landscape and portrait videos to cover a wider range of inventory available. In fact, on mobile device, portrait videos tend to perform a lot better as they provide a better user experience covering almost two-thirds of the screen. So, how do we capture attention with great videos? Right? First and foremost, grab attention early. Get ahead of that skip button by grabbing user attention within the first 2 3 seconds. Use audio to create another layer of connection and urgency. Second, diversify the length and content. Consider creating at least three videos with varying lengths between 10 and 30 seconds. Experiment with themes, styles, and subjects to speak to different audiences. Third, be immersive. Emphasize app experience over storytelling. Emotional appeal is important, but prioritize showing the product experience as quickly as possible. And finally, brand persistently. Introduce branding as early and as frequently as possible, both through logo and text placements in your ads, and also through audio cues. Okay, now that we have covered the best practices for each asset type, let's also understand how to manage these assets better via something called as ad groups. Firstly, we should ensure full coverage of asset types in each ad group. Add text, images, as well as videos. Second, we should have at least one or two always on ad groups. So, what retailers do is when they have a sale, they create new ad groups for that period and add the relevant sale creatives. However, they also have the evergreen ad groups that talk about the app in general, which stays on irrespective of sale or seasonality. Third, leverage longer description lines and asset caps. Try and utilize the maximum character limit available to tell your story. Lastly, and this is the most important, to consolidate campaigns to leverage historical learnings. If we have campaigns that have similar targeting but only differ in creatives, we should consider consolidating them together to avoid cannibalization among themselves. Here is an example of how you can optimize for different audiences in one single campaign using ad groups. Taking the example of Headspace, an app that specializes in meditation, the first ad group theme is around meditation for sleep. The second ad group focuses on meditation for stress. And the last one, which is most generic, focuses on the product USPs. Each of these ad groups will target the relevant audience cohort, and through one single app campaign, having these multiple ad groups, you'll be able to target different audiences. Additionally, I would also like to highlight that these are some universal best practices to deliver optimal performance from your marketing campaigns. However, I would urge you to work with your respective account managers or the Google customer support team to improve your creative excellence. The account managers can help you analyze your specific creative performance and share details about ad fatigue, etc. They will also be able to benchmark your creatives against the app category, or let's say your choice of a custom peer group, and give you actionable suggestions to improve with the help of certain internal tools. Okay, so let's move to the last lever for today, which is Firebase and tech implementation. Have you already heard of Firebase? Well, Firebase is currently Google's mobile backend as a service that's used by almost 300,000 developers. And we are extending the brand to include several more products and features that span across Google. So, what are some of the services that Firebase can offer as a mobile developer platform? Mainly three things. First, it helps developers to build their apps more easily and with better stability. Second, Firebase also offers some tools to monitor that and to make sure that the service is running smoothly. And lastly, Firebase offers great features to understand user behavior and to communicate with existing users to improve engagement and monetization. So, from the build to operate to growth, Firebase features can support each phase of the app lifecycle. Among all of these great features, the third pillar, grow your app, is the most relevant for our discussion today. Let's understand how Firebase events data can help improve performance of your app campaigns. First, more data signals. Auto collected event data and suggested events will help provide additional standardized signals to our models across the entire user funnel. Having an understanding of the user actions that led to that deeper funnel action that you value will help improve model performance. Second, standardized data signals. Further, getting this data in a standardized format makes it easier for our models to learn. So, we say one common language for our models to understand. And finally, this data is both secure and transparent. So, by integrating with Google Sign In, we can begin unifying user transparency and privacy controls all in one place. Due to the improved data signals explained here, we have noticed an average performance uplift of about 10 to 20% as part of our internal studies and estimate similar benefits for USC advertisers who use Firebase over other third party tools as their medium for conversion for bidding. Since app campaigns run on machine learning, the more relevant data we are able to provide to the campaigns, the better the campaigns will perform and deliver high quality acquisitions. The objective here is to make the campaigns understand the kind of users you want to acquire and let the machine find similar high quality users. One such tech implementation is called Project Loki. This is an internal name. But what Project Loki does is it leverages Firebase audience triggers to turn complex behavior into events instantly, which can then be passed on to your Google Ads account for finding users who demonstrate these complex users' behavior. Let me explain more. So ideally, you have to write code in your app to capture user behavior, such as logging in, browsing products, add to cart, and create events out of it to be passed to your Google AdWords account and to your campaigns for optimizing on these goals. And every time you create a new event like this, you have to launch a new version of your app on the Play Store to make it live. What audience triggers does it allows you to do is build these complex conditions from existing set of events without creating any new version of your app on the Play Store. So let's look at how this can help you. With the help of on the fly complex event creation, you can address your most challenging business needs almost instantly. You can improve your retention rates by creating a complex event of, let's say, day three retention combined with high app engagement. Or you can optimize towards premium users who not only transact but transact above a certain order value and frequency. Additionally, when you launch a new product slash service, or let's say you launched a new show on your OTT app, right? You can optimize for users who should be transacting with these new categories only. And if you are a retail player, you can even optimize towards a specific brand sale by creating the right set of complex event. Basically, as you can see here, Firebase audience triggers allows you to drive very, very specific user behavior depending on your business objective. Sharing a case study about Zomato here, where we implemented this project Loki. So Zomato was running app campaigns for action, driving the event called order placed and optimizing obviously for the lowest cost of acquisition. We worked with them to create new events using audience triggers for creating audiences which are both of high order value and provide a better ROI. So, multiple events were tested using variables like order value, frequency of order, recency of purchase, as well as restaurant type. And it took only a few minutes to create all of these multiple events with the help of audience triggers. The experiment worked very well, and Zomato saw a 10% increase in their order value at a 30% lower cost of acquisition. It also helped them acquire significantly more premium users, leading to better profitability. With that, we come to the end of today's session. I would like to leave you with just one thought. Even when you reach that zenith where you have exactly the right ratings and reviews and Play Store listings, don't be satisfied or stop. Your app is meeting new customers every day. They are all different and they all matter. A few bad ratings, a few changes in your app listing style can change the tide in a matter of days. Continuously monitor and don't hesitate to experiment with data led decisions and try for incremental improvement. If you'd like to learn more about Google app offerings, you and your teams can visit skillshop.withgoogle.com to go through detailed modules to further solidify your app knowledge and even earn certification from Google. I'll close with this last slide. There are various ways how Google can support you in your app promo journey. Get onboarding support from Google, optimize help on your installs and cost of acquisition, as well as consultation on measurement, retention, MAUs, etc. You can reach out to me separately at the email ID mentioned here. I so well, that's all from my side. Hope you found the session useful. Stay safe and have a great day ahead.